Can you hear me?
Good
Can you hear me?
afternoon and welcome to What in the Hell Am I Doing Wrong? I am your host, Jameelah B, and I have the honor and the privilege to have Mr. Orenthial Brown here today as my special guest. Ooh, you sweating. I had the
No,
pleasure.
I had some difficulties. I had some technical difficulties, so I had to use my iPhone because my
Mm,
Mac, I don't know, it was acting up. So I kind of got nervous because I didn't want to let you down. I can't let you down, my sister.
I,
So, you know,
I appreciate it. I appreciate
can
it.
you hear me well?
I can
Can you
hear
hear me
you just
well? Am I too loud? Okay.
no,
All
you're
right,
good.
cool.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I had the pleasure. I want to let everybody know I had the pleasure of meeting Orenthial. I don't know, it was several years ago. I don't even know how far back it was. He was the male lead in my short film in Common. So we've kept in contact ever since then. And he's a great person. He's an engineer as well as an entrepreneur. And we will be, showcasing some of his sunglasses, what he's wearing right now, later on in
Mm,
the broadcast. And he's also a phenomenal
yeah.
actor. So I think we're gonna dive right in, and I'm again, y'all. I'm glad you're here with me, and today we're going to be talking about the dynamics of male-female relationships.
Okay.
This is part two, and so I want to just jump right in talking about chivalry. I think in
Okay.
this day and age, where where the social media is prevalent, and
Mm-hmm.
school dating is not there. Do you
Right.
believe chivalry is dead?
Chivalry, what is that? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, no, I don't think chivalry is dead. Um, I think that a lot of guys still believe in opening up car doors and pulling out chairs for young ladies, and I don't think it's dead. Paying for first dates and things like that. I mean, I think it's still happening, and it's in effect. I mean, I'm not saying it lasts a long time. After a few months, it's like, you gonna open up my car door for me? It's like, oh, we ain't dating no more. Like, we, 100
Well,
now.
it shouldn't matter though. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. And that's where I'm getting at with this is because at first in initial dating with people, the chivalry might be present. It's present
Right,
during that
right.
time. But then as you get more and more into the relationship, it seems like those things just go out the window. And I'm thinking, is it because society feels like women are on an equal playing field with men, or is it just that men use chivalry as a means to an end? And when I say that, is chivalry used as a means to obtain sex or, or some kind of perks for them in the relationship? Or I mean, back in the day, it used to be just common courtesy. It was something that
Right.
men just did. So when you say that after, a few months of dating, it's like, okay, you're old. Like, we're not dating anymore.
That's
So then you
right.
go into whatever. Why does it go out the window? Why does it matter?
Well, I mean, first, let me just address the first question. I think a lot of young men are being taught, in the homes nowadays, like back in the day, about chivalry and just being that gentleman, you know. Um, and that needs to change, because that's something that we should continue to teach, young men, and everything about just being a gentleman. Um, I think that, initially everybody kind of shows their best face. Everybody has that persona. They show that good guy, you know, let me open up the car door and, things like that. And then it kind of, sometimes I think it just, it fades. You become more and more accustomed to the person, and they become more accustomed to you. And it still pops up every now and then, the flowers and, and gifts and things like that. But, I just think that after a while, you just kind of, I mean, you shouldn't get too complacent. You should still try to keep those little things, because it's always the little things that matter. Everybody
Mm.
can do the big things, but it's just the little things, that matter. So,
Yeah, because I mean, for me, I appreciate, opening doors. It's gonna be my
right,
car door, it's going to be any door I'm walking in and out of. Anything you're doing, you need to be opening the door, or else that's like check marks off my list for you. And I
Wow.
feel, yeah, that's a big deal to me. Chivalry is a deal breaker for me. I mean, if a guy is dating me and he's not performing certain acts, it's a no-go for me. I'm out the door. That's an automatic turn off, because to me, I feel like chivalry is a form of respect, and it's just
Right.
a respect of women, and just honoring womanhood. So I feel like in our generation, a lot of people do not respect that. And I'm looking at one of the comments. It says, I believe generational tolerance of inappropriate behavior amongst the opposite sex has resulted in the death of chivalry. And I totally agree. I think,
Yeah.
as far as music, we can see a lot in the music is no respect, for women. I think with social media, I want to
Hmm.
get more into that. A lot of times you have young men or people in general,
Right.
um, they send unsolicited messages to women on social media. They're doing stuff that
Hmm.
they would not do in person, but they're doing it on social media because there's no accountability for their actions. So I,
Yeah.
I
I
think,
mean, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead. No, I'm got it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the media and music, it has ruined, especially, in our community. It has taken a lot of that away. But 90% of I think 90% of the things that men do are for women. And from the way we dress, the way we talk, and things like that, the way we carry ourselves, and you know, women should not allow it. You know, and I've seen a lot of young ladies. I mean, I'm 45, so I'm from a
Mhm.
whole another generation. But I've witnessed a lot of young ladies, like giving up their number and talking to guys, and the guy pants is hanging down.
Right.
It's like, wow. So it's kind of, I mean, we can't do certain things if you don't allow it. But then again, it all starts at home, and that whole thing. I don't want to go in tangent, about home life, but I'm just saying that something has been lost, and we as a people, we need to try to get it back. I know I teach my son,
Mhm.
about chivalry and open car door and things like that. So, but
Mhm.
I realize, just looking at society and what's going on with the younger generation, that it's been a lot of things have been lost, and women accept it. Women accept, being called these names, younger women especially. But
No,
you
there's
know,
some older ones too that accept it. I mean, I will I hate to say it. I mean, I'm in the 40 plus group, I'm 42. And I
mhm,
do notice that a lot of women are tolerating a lot of disrespect just for the sake of having a warm body next to them. And to me,
right,
that is ridiculous, because at the end of the day, if I can't look myself in the mirror after being in a relationship with someone like that, or accepting foolishness, or just tolerating disrespect, what does that say about me? And, what does that say, about women today, period? And like Crystal said, and it goes back to what you were saying, men are not being taught to be gentlemen, or they choose not to show
right,
it. So I think a lot of it comes from, home training, because I think in the
hmm,
older generations, it was expected, regardless of if
right,
the man was or whatever, infidelity or what have you, chivalry was still there. But I think
right,
in these generations, we have younger parents that may not have been taught, manners, just basic manners and respect.
right,
So they
right.
don't teach to their kids. So it's just like generations going down the drain of just bad behavior and just not having respect. So,
And
I,
and it's not even. I don't even think it's taught in the schools. I was a member of a mentoring group, and we taught the young men in the group about chivalry, and we also had an etiquette coach that would
mhm.
come in and teach them on you know etiquette, you know all the way down to like where your knives and forks go, and your drink, and how a table is set, and how to open, how to pull a chair out for a young lady. And I think that's not being taught in school. So I mean, my generation, you know it's still being done. I feel, But in the younger generation that's coming up, it's lost. It's not there.
It's not. And like Ursula said, we as women must also set the precedence for our
Right,
expectations, especially knowing that not all men were raised to be chivalrous. And that's true because
right.
not all men were raised that way. Because I recall one time I was dating a gentleman, he was a few years younger than me. He
Hmm.
had no concept of opening a door, period. He literally let a door fall on me. And I was just offended. I was appalled. And I said to him, you need to
Wow.
start opening the doors for me. He didn't understand the logic behind that. And then
Right.
started opening doors going into buildings. But then when I said about the car door, he was like, I got to open that too. And I was like, really, dude? So the concept, the mindset is not there.
Wow.
I do think that
Right.
if women start setting those standards, they have
Yes.
to meet that. And you have to, enforce it, not just say it, you have to enforce it. Because with
I,
me, it's a deal breaker. If it's not done, I'm out the door. I'm gone.
right. Yeah. I mean, and that same guy, he probably couldn't change your lock on your house. If your house was broken into or whatever, you needed, or you needed to replace a lock. That same guy probably couldn't even do it. And I don't know, guys. Men have to, we have to get it together. Especially the younger guys and some of the older guys to learn to do, these small things and be skillful, be handy, and have more than one way to pay as well. Cut some yards, change some locks, paint. That's another way to pay, as I call it. You don't have to
Yeah,
just
I agree. And I mean, like, I think Chris was saying, I think it's the choose aspect of it all. Like some men, they know what to do, they just choose not to. And it was a
right,
comment earlier I saw what LaDonna said. Chivalry is also knowing when your mate needs more than opening doors. So I think that goes back to what you just said. Like, if my grass needs to be cut, volunteer. If you
right,
see my car needs to be washed, volunteer to take it to go and get washed. If I need
right,
gas in my tank, you know, just volunteer
right.
to do that. And I think it just shows that you care. Those little small
Exactly.
things, even though they may seem very insignificant, but they mean a lot. They really do.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I've heard so many different stories, of just brothers not being able to change a tire, you know, and but you gotta set standards, and you have to teach. I always believe that you have to teach people how to treat you. You know, you have to teach people how to treat you,
Yes.
and it's sad to say, but there are a lot of men that are like maybe 50, like that are older, but they have the mind of younger men, you know. And so there's you age but you don't grow. Some people age but they don't grow. So,
Right.
but yeah, you definitely have to teach people how to treat you. I was always a big proponent of that. Um, don't
Okay.
sneeze on the phone without saying excuse me.
Yeah.
Don't be on the phone with me and talking to somebody else. And I just hang up.
I'm totally big on manners. Like if I'm out, and I mean this is beyond just chivalry. This is just manners, table manners, and all that. If someone does not eat properly, if they don't do just common things, that is an ultimate turn off to me, and it's
Right.
disgusting. So I feel like that person needs a lot of grooming. Some people are willing to take up that task. I'm not. I feel like
Right.
at 42, I can't take up the job of trying to train a grown man. I mean,
Right.
I can't.
You're
I
not trying
can't.
to raise no man.
No, I'm not. Like K. Michelle says, you can't raise a man. So, and I think like just said, I think it's a slow change over time by society, men and
Yeah.
women, as the proverbial boiling of frog happens by slowly raising the temperature. The change we see now happens slowly. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see that, but some progression is just a little too slow, in my opinion. I feel like at a certain point, I mean, I think at a certain age, some change should have already happened. That's how I feel.
Right. Right. Some people age, but they don't grow. So,
Do people learn from what they see or what they hear? I agree. I totally agree. I mean, just even though my father was deceased, when I was growing up, But my mom would tell me things that he did, how he treated her. So that let me know how a man is supposed to treat a woman. And those were my expectations and what I, look forward to in a relationship. So do you feel that, people learn from what they see or what they hear?
Yeah, I think that growing up, you learn by example. Like I can tell my son, you know, anything, but he's going to look and see what I'm doing. And I think a lot of people, that's how we learn. I mean, I came from a two-parent home, mom and dad, and they're still together. So it's like I saw how my dad treated my mom, and the way she treated him. Even though she made more money, he was still held in high regard. He was still, the man of the house, and there was respect there.
Mm-hmm.
And and I'm not saying he was 100% chivalrous, but you know, he did what he had to do, and well, was a good example for me. And so I think lately in our society, we just don't have a lot of good examples anymore. A lot of our homes are, uh, don't have that male figure there. So you have a couple generations that you know are not. A lot of the young men are just not there, and some young women as well.
That's
When
true.
it comes to these things.
And that goes to this comment I just saw by Chocolate, that and women not seeing the example of men being chivalrous. Then if they are a single parent with a son, they don't even know what to teach them to, or what to teach them to be chivalrous. So that is another thing. You have a lot of single parent homes led by women, and of course, I mean, I don't believe that a woman can't teach a man just general respect and how to be chivalrous, but
Right.
it does take some form of male figure to kind of drive the message home, because you see an example in that person and that will motivate you to do those things. So I do think that is important.
Right. So they're too busy like working. Boy, please, just get in the car. You got football practice. You know what I mean? You think about no chivalry, and but
And
some probably are. But I'm just saying, from basically from what I see, in our society.
right. And that goes back to, I want to get back on the topic of chivalry for a moment.
Okay.
And, I think I mentioned earlier, I mean, the dating scene, my platform is about, being over a certain age and, dating and, different things like that. And you said, like, you mentioned earlier that after a certain point in the dating process, the chivalry stops. Like they feel like, oh, I got that person, so let me stop. So my thing is, that is a little disappointing that is the standard and that is a pattern for a lot of men. Like they'll start off giving you all kind of flowers, compliments, treating you like a queen. But once they have you, wrapped around their finger, all that stuff goes out the window. Like, okay, I did that to get you, but I don't feel like I need to continue doing it to keep you. And do you feel like that's a major issue in dating today? And why is that? Especially when it comes to men.
I think that a relationship takes work, and it's the little things that matter. Um, I don't think all chivalry goes away. Maybe like opening the car door, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that might go away. But I think there's still some things that men do that are still considered chivalry. You know, but I think in a relationship you just have to continue to keep working on these little things. Working on these little chivalristic type things that you do to keep things boiling. Keep things going. And
Mm-hmm.
it I don't want to say it gets the libido going for the women, but it's like I've heard that. I've heard that. Uh, but
I mean,
not getting lazy in anything, can end in atrophy. If you get lazy and work out, your muscles are going to get weak. So if you get lazy in doing these romantic, chivalristic type things, then I think that the relationship suffer.
Yeah, and they do. And I think that it happens too often than not. Even, in the courting phase or the dating phase, you will have a man who, I mean, and it could go both ways with women too. I mean, I can only speak from a female's perspective, in regards to dating a man, but I know that in my experiences, it's like once they have your attention and they know they have your attention, they stop doing all the sweet things they did to get your attention, and that's that sets you up for disappointment. So I think that's why I have like low expectations for men a lot of times, because I feel like, okay, they're going to play this game up until a certain point, and then once they have your attention, it's like over. Okay, I'm looking at
What
a
do you
comment.
bring to the table? The thing is that we're women bringing to the table.
I bring a lot to the table, a whole lot.
You cook,
I,
you cater. Do you cater to your man?
yes, I give you the same energy that's given to me. If it's given to me, I have no problem, catering to my man if he's deserving of those things. That's how I feel. And I mean, I initially, I feel like this. Someone told me a long time ago, and I believe this to be true. A woman should always have a man who is more into her than she is into him, because the respect is different. So I feel like a man should be earning my time and he should be earning my trust. That's how I feel. I know that may sound sexist to a certain degree, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of. I won't go there today.
So there,
That's kind of
you go there. I was going to touch on this topic that Camila Spence said. She said another
okay.
issue. There are women out here being whole dudes, meaning
Being
women have
what?
being whole
Meaning?
dudes, meaning women have men in the home and she is making the family deals, cooking the meals, and paying the bills, not enforcing men to be men. And I know, I'm old school in that respect. I don't want to feel like I'm in a household where I have to be Susie homemaker. I got to go out and bring home the bacon. I have to do everything. I don't want to be in a household like that. But there are a lot of
Man.
situations like that are happening. But a lot of men still want to be the king of the castle, as far as this and that and the other. But you have a woman that's doing everything to keep this household running.
Well, I mean, you have your alpha men and you have your beta men. And I would say I'm an alpha man.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm the aggressor. I'm the provider.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even if I didn't make all the money, or if I didn't make equal, I'm still a provider. I'm still taking care of the house, taking care of the yard, taking care and doing my part. I personally don't cook. I'm not a very good cook. You know, I could probably burn minute rice. Um, but I think that no matter what amount of money a woman makes, there should still be a level of comportment that she has and respect that she has for her man. Unless he's just like no good or whatever. I mean, if he's there and she's a doctor and he is a blue collar guy, but he takes good care of her, takes good care of the family. He maintains the house, he takes care of the cars, and he does what he's supposed to do as a man. Although he don't make the same amount, she should still give him that same level of, she should give him that level of respect. He's the man of the house.
I
Um,
agree with that. I agree with
I'm
that.
just that's just call it old school or whatever, but I don't think because you make more money that you should talk down to me, disrespect me, look at me like like I ain't crap. You know what I mean? I'm just still the king. You're the queen and I'm the king. You know.
Well, you have to. I mean, my thing is how much money a man makes, and how much a woman makes. I'm not even talking about that, because in society now, you might have it there. A woman might make more than her
Absolutely,
husband.
absolutely.
I'm not talking about emasculating men, but you have some men that, will stay home all day and play video games. And I'm speaking from
Mm-hmm.
people I know that have been in these situations, and they're
Mm-hmm.
not even contributing to the household. And you have this woman she goes to work all day. She comes home and has to prepare meals. And then she's the one like having to pay all the bills. And he's just like, oh, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. And he sees things that needs to be done around the house and still won't do it. So it's like those situations are happening. And like Kimma said, sadly, you have some men and women with low standards. You really do. And I think
I
it's
believe
just
it. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, you gotta, if she love it, then hey, I mean, I mean, are you going to blame the man? Yeah, it's bad that he does that, but she's allowing it. She's allowing it because maybe he's loving is good, or he puts it down. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. I mean, gosh, I would feel less than a man, me personally, to have a woman to be doing all that for me, and I ain't, I'm not contributing or doing anything but playing video games. But yeah, I mean, you have women out there with low self-esteem that, they feel like, hey, I'm doing all this. I'm taking care of him. I need him. He's the father of my child. I mean, hey, I mean, more power to him, But me personally, I think that I think it's not cool.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think, like Ursula said, every relationship should have a balance. If
yeah,
alpha man can't cook, he can wash dishes and prep the kitchen so his woman can
exactly.
skills. Everyone should play a role to make it work. And I totally agree with that. I think teamwork makes the dream work. And in today's society, you have women that are in the workforce. It's not like back in the day where, we had women who stayed at home and you had the man that
Hmm.
constantly, brought home the bacon. So you
Right.
are on an equal playing field in those aspects. So if he can't cook and she's doing the cooking, he needs to contribute by at least washing dishes or,
Taking
doing,
care of the house.
yeah, taking care
Right.
of the house.
I believe this is my philosophy. I read this. I just kind of adopted it. A good husband makes a good wife, and a good
Mm-hmm,
wife makes a good husband. If you're my wife and you get sick, I
mm-hmm,
need to be able to cook, clean, take care of the kids, and work until you can get back up, like on your feet. We balance back out. I mean, I'm not the best cook. I can barbecue. I can make. I can cook, but I'm not an expert. Um,
mm-hmm.
but I mean, I believe a good husband makes a good wife, and a good wife makes a good husband. So
Yeah, I agree, and I'm laughing at Chris's comment. Like he said, if he can't, if he look, he pretty much he's saying if he can't get the car fixed, he'll pay a mechanic to fix the car,
exactly,
and that is
exactly.
so. I'm going to veer a little bit out of the chivalry conversation
Okay.
for a minute, and I'm going to talk about dating. Okay,
Hmm.
so when we're dating, there's the representative and then there's the real person. So I think a lot of people are meeting these representatives when they're
Uh-huh.
dating. And I think
Hmm.
anybody who is dating wants to put their best foot forward and, represent the best way they can. But some people are going beyond just, trying to put their best foot forward. They're
Right.
actually committing fraud out here with who they are and what they're doing. So how
Right.
can we decipher from who is the representative and who is the real person?
Okay. Esoterically, you can do an astrological birth chart. You see the person, see who they are. God, let me stop. That's too deep. But they do it in some countries like India. I think that everybody, when you first meet them, they always put their best face. And, the way to pierce through that is to date, get to know them, you know? Um, you know, don't sleep with the guy, until you really, gotta feel as to who he is or what type of person he is.
Mhm.
Uh, Same thing. I mean, guys could do it with girls. Like, I'm not really gonna get really into her until I, you know, realize or like understand who she is. Um, she might have bad credit, or She might not be faithful. You know, really, really, credit is important. You got credit, you go
These are some
from
things that are deal breakers
0
for
to 10. Huh?
people. I mean,
What's
those
that?
things are deal breakers. Those are deal breakers.
Yeah, yeah. You got
Mhm.
a ton of debt. You know, it's like, whoa. You know, I'm gonna. You know, his boyfriend and girlfriend sometimes becomes husband and wife.
Right?
You know, so it's real important. That's why dating is so important, and courtship is so important, so that you can get to know that person, you know, as much as you possibly can. Some people can front it longer than others,
Mhm.
you know, but and I think that's really, you know, the best, safest way to really get to know a person and communicate. You know, if someone doesn't communicate effectively, if they're not transparent, they're not really transparent, then maybe they're hiding something. You know,
Mhm.
if a woman's not for me, if a woman's not very transparent, she probably is a cheater or have cheating tendencies, and you know, vice versa too. You know,
Yeah.
so
Transparent in what way? Like, like, I mean, you're not going to divulge everything up front, but I mean,
no,
gradually you will see certain things. And I like this comment. Somebody said they have a friend who has a representative detector quote, "Let me ask," and I think they said him in the comments. And I'm going to go into that because some people are good. They're very crafty. They know how to manipulate. They know how to run scams. You have a lot of people out here running all types of scams on women and men, for
hmm
whatever reason. I am a big advocate of background checks. I mean, I know a lot of people find that to be taboo, but I feel like if
Google their name. Google their
you
name.
Google them, you better check out what they say. Because I mean, with the digital age that we're living in, most stuff
Yeah,
is public knowledge. I'm not
that's
saying I
true.
need you to go and look. I mean, credit is important because you don't want to marry
Yeah,
somebody who has an astronomically high amount of debt and that
right,
becomes your debt, and then you can't do anything with that person. No, you don't want to.
right,
You don't want to do that. But at the same
right,
time, you do want someone who they have a job or they are
right,
not a rapist or a killer or so. I mean, we have this
right.
stuff out there, or people who are just running just outlandish scams on people. So I am a big advocate of doing a background check on people, and I don't mind them doing one on me because whatever I say, it is what it is. So I don't have a
Right.
problem.
Yeah, you know, like you say, you know, in the digital age, you can find out almost anything. You Google people, you look on their Facebook, you can do a background check, and find out who you're dealing with before you get too deep, you know, and you have yourself a serial killer or somebody that you know has done some major stuff. You put your life at risk, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
because I mean, a few years ago, it was a gentleman here in Atlanta who was
hmm
trained as a doctor. And I mean,
hmm
this man had gotten credentials, just stolen credentials, and was actually perpetrating and walking around here like he was a doctor. And this woman believed him. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, you
Okay,
got. I mean, you can get all that from the computer. You can get a lot of information from Googling people. So
okay. I have a comment that said, "I found out she Googled me. We are done. Period." Oh, that's
why
interesting.
is that?
I mean, I just think that, in this day and age, a lot of people are not being honest. I mean, I'm finding that like
Yeah,
just to my friends and different people
can't hide nothing.
being honest out here, they're not. They're really
Yeah,
not.
yeah. People are, they're not being honest. Yeah. So, gosh, yeah. But nowadays you can't really hide. You know, people will Google you. They'll. I mean, you literally have to be off Facebook, Instagram. You got to be off the grid just about you know, to kind of hide.
Okay, there likely will ever be trust between. Kappa class. I don't believe. I don't agree with that because I do think that
What was that
it's
question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that because I can't see the comments.
okay. This was the initial comment about if I find out she Googled me, we are done. Period. And then he said, because I said, well, why? And he said, because there likely will never be trust between us. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think that, there will be trust. I think that
Mm-hmm.
a mechanism of protection for me, because I guess as a woman, I've seen so many horror stories of people out
Yeah.
here scammed out of money. You'll be all in love and going with this man, and he'll have you on America's Most Wanted. These things are real. So I don't think it
Mm-hmm.
has anything to do with you personally. I think it's just a
Mm-hmm.
protection for that person. That's just how I
Yeah.
see it. That's just me. And I think as women, we don't go with our gut instinct enough. And I think that
Y'all don't go with y'all gut instinct enough.
when something is not right, it's not right. And that's just the bottom line. Anytime I have
Right.
felt something wrong and ignored it, I
It's
was
wrong.
I was wrong for doing that. So I think that we
Right.
need to go with our God-given intuition and listen to that stuff because it's real. So that's just how I
I,
feel about
look, it happens to men as well
it. Mm.
because it happened to me, back in the day.
Oh,
And this person was so slick. My mind was telling me things like something's going on. I'm single, like, but she wasn't married. And, I later got walked up on. So, and trust me, that told me then, like, boy, you slipping. Like, you really need to go ahead and settle down because if she pulled that over your eyes, you have fallen off. And it happened. More than like, it's been more than 15 years ago, but yeah,
no,
it happens to us too.
people lie about their God-given name. They'll be out here telling you aliases. So it and looking you in your face every
Yeah,
day. It's a scary game. And I see some people in the comments, men say they haven't they've never Googled a woman that they dated, and maybe it's more on the woman's side of Googling men. I
yeah.
don't know. But Elijah was saying that I had a woman tell me stuff about me I didn't know. She went through my Facebook, Instagram. That's not women make no private.
Everything. Wow. And you got to
See,
make it private, bro. You got to make it private.
my thing is, I
Wow.
don't see why it's a big deal. I don't see why it's such a big deal if you on the up and up. If I have nothing to hide and I'm dating you, I don't see why it's such a big deal. That's just me. I don't know. And maybe it's just the nosiness in me. I am a journalist by
Right.
profession, but maybe that's just me. So I don't know. What I had a woman tell me I had 3 kids and a wife once. I don't. We didn't get out the gate. She used the wrong search engine. Well, I'm like this. My name is so uncommon that you will have the right person probably if you Google me. Now, some
Yeah.
names are common and you may have the wrong person. So
Yeah.
that's common.
It's like 50 Jameelas in the whole wide world.
Yeah, especially a Jameelah Brown or my legal name, which I still carry my married name, which is Jameelah Farrell, professionally,
Right.
but that's a very uncommon name. So I'm 9 times out of 10, if somebody Googling me, they got me. So
Right.
now somebody named Sam Smith, you in trouble,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It's
And
true.
I agree with Chris. We all have secrets. Yes, we do. We all have secrets. Some things that we don't want to disclose, but for the most part, stuff that matters. Like if you got a whole wife and children, and you doing this and you done it, you just got out of prison. Those are things you need to disclose to give that person an
Right.
opportunity to make a sound decision on whether or not they want to move forward with you. That's
Yeah,
how
I
I.
mean, you gotta get to know people. You gotta get to know people, and that's important. You gotta get to know people, and then you gotta get to know their family. If a guy's not taking you after, I don't know, 6 months, and you don't meet no siblings, no parents, it don't have to be like, hey, this is my future wife. But if he's not saying, oh, let me take you to our get together or whatever, then something's not right there. Something may
And
not
you're
be right.
absolutely correct because I know, well, for example, for me, I don't bring everyone around my family until I really have vetted you and I felt like, okay, you're
Right.
somebody you want in my life. So if I
Right.
take that step to bring you around my family who I hold near and dear to me, you better be on the up and up. And you know that I'm on
Exactly.
the up and up if I'm bringing you around my
Exactly.
family. So that is important. If you never meet this person's friends, you never meet their family, that is a
Hmm.
big flag. And we need to look at those things. And I think some people just get caught up in the smoke screen of what this person looks like or who this person is, that they don't even want to acknowledge that, okay, something ain't right here. You know, like, why I haven't met your mama? Or why I haven't met any of your friends, you know? So,
Exactly. Yeah. Something's wrong.
yep. I love social media. It is an effective tool to evaluate if this is someone you want to be associated with. Yeah, and it goes beyond like criminal stuff or just cheating stuff. I mean, if I go on a man's page that's trying to date me and I see everything on his page is some woman booted up, like doing something perverted or whatever, I know good well, or he just
You're like, no.
some man that I want to be associated with, because we have absolutely
Right.
nothing in and we never.
Exactly.
That's how I feel. So,
Yeah,
moving
exactly.
into non-traditional ways to date and different things like that.
Uh-huh.
So, what are some non-traditional ways that you would suggest people try to meet somebody in this day and age?
Non-traditional ways.
Well, I mean, for example, I don't know if the dating apps and stuff is non-traditional anymore. I don't know how. I mean, they are to some people, because from our generation, I recall, like, if a guy like me or was attracted to me, they would come up, they would step to me in person. So it's like a
Right.
lot of people are using, I think the dating apps and, you know, online dating is becoming the norm for a lot of people when it comes to dating. So I'm just
Especially with
wondering,
COVID. Mm-hmm.
yeah, with COVID. And that's another thing, like, if you were single before COVID, I know you can
Woo!
tell right now, because I mean, you can't
Yep.
really go on a date, you can't really go to a bar, you can't really, you know,
Yep.
go on a physical date, and that
Excuse
is
me.
something too I will be announcing at the end of my show today. I'm going to be doing a
Right.
dating show. We're going to be doing that upcoming. We're going to be highlighting singles and doing like a matchmaking thing. So
Oh,
anybody
that's
know it?
cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be a cool,
So,
unique day. Mhm.
so the non-traditional ways. I know that a lot of people that I know, a lot of women that I know are using, um, the dating apps, and they're meeting in a neutral space, and having dinner or lunch or whatever. Because I mean, I think it would look real odd if a guy is in a store and a woman walks up like, "Hey, I think you're cute. Can I get your number?" It's like, the hell's wrong with her? So it's not. I mean, there are probably some women that'll do it, but it's not a good look. So a lot of people are meeting on these apps, um, and if things don't work out, it's like, okay, we'll delete the person and keep it moving and meet someone else. And you know, I think for guys, Lions hit ratio is less than half. So you get five, go out to five women, you might get one. Uh, but yeah, the apps are, I think, one of the safest ways to kind of get to know somebody a little and then meet them, and or through friends and things like that, and somebody like introducing you to a guy they know. Um, so yeah, I think those are some of the
And I know that
non-traditional ways.
I know that they're the preferred method for dating, but I'm just old school. I want you to see me walking out in the street, and I just want you to approach me. And I know last week in our discussion, and Elijah and I were talking, he even suggested that women, like you said, it may not be a good look sometimes for women to go up to a man, but he even suggested that, maybe some women should, you know,
Right.
take that step and the one to approach. And I'm like, I know
Yeah.
that's just my DNA. I can't do it. I can't do it. I mean, I don't care. Maybe if he Cool J or something, but I don't even think in that aspect. I would do it.
Well, I mean, there's a more subtle way. You go around the guy and just kind of pick up a conversation, whatever. And so, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to go up and be like, hey, what's your name? Well, like we do y'all. You know what I mean? But just a more subtle kind of hang out. If he's bought a magazine rack, you go over and pretend you're looking at, Men's Health or whatever, Vogue or one of those magazines, and then you just kind of strike a conversation or
That's
compliment the guy. It's like, oh, I like your shoes or your shirt or your glasses, and you know,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
yeah.
that's
And
that's
I mean, what's wrong? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. You just you're striking up a conversation. We don't speak enough anyway. You know, like people. Like guys see girls and just like no hello, just walk right by and then look. Dang, she got a fat one. It's like there's no, hey, how you doing? Or
And I
People,
would,
I don't know. I just find that we don't speak. Guys don't speak nowadays to
yeah,
women.
and I would appreciate that if someone came up to me and just genuinely started a conversation with me. I would. I mean, I would, because I mean, I get hit up all the time on social media. I mean, somebody might see my picture, God knows what, they'll say something. But
Right.
I mean, there could be 10 other women they see in that same minute that they sending the same generic message to, which is not appealing to me. So I would prefer, if
You
somebody
don't
came
know
up.
that though. You don't know that. I mean, you can't say you can't see it like that. I mean, you just gotta handle it's competition. It's if he is, he is. But guys, remember, I mean, guys strike out. We strike out a lot. You know, guys. Guys strike out all the time. So,
Well,
but
that's true.
yeah, we strike out a lot. I mean, so if somebody comes up and like, hey, how you doing? God, what kind of lotion do you use? You have beautiful skin. It's like, what I mean? You just
So flattered if somebody said
vibe with it, huh?
that. I would.
You would what now?
I would be flattered if somebody walked up to me and
Right,
acknowledged something about that. I'm taking pride in my face and stuff in my skin. I would be
right.
flattered.
Right,
I would,
right. God, you got some nice skin, girl. Like, hey, I mean, you use cocoa butter. Or, I mean, how do you? Are you vegetarian or something? Like, you got beautiful skin. All right, let me
and
stop
Chris.
giving. Let me stop giving the lyrics. Let me stop giving.
Well, look,
Those
it's
days,
no
days
you talk
over.
has not. I know game a mile away. Okay, Chris
You
said
know, game a mile away. Okay, all right.
I don't understand how hard it is for a man to approach most of the time. I mean, I'm like Orenthial just said, men get turned down all the time, but I think, y'all are accustomed to it. I think women aren't used to that. I think it would
Right.
hurt a woman more if she did that.
Well, I'll say this, that even I have a lot of friends that excuse me one sec. Okay. Yeah, I have younger friends, that I shoot basketball with and everything. And you know, I try to tell them like, look, if you want, you gotta learn that you get good at meeting women that striking out. Like
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan was so good in basketball because he failed so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, I say, look, man, a lion's hit ratio is less than half,
Mm-hmm.
which means, if a lion chased 5 deer, he'll probably get one in a possible. And it's the same thing for women. You gotta jump and grow your wings on the way down. You gotta leap and fail, because the more you fail, the better you get. You know, and a lot of guys just don't have. They got to be a little tipsy. They got to be with a group. They just can't, or the girl got to be dancing next to them, but they just can't go and just walk up to a young lady and just like they don't have the cojones, like they don't have the balls, like. And you have to, if you want, this girl that you want, you have to go over. And what's the worst thing she could say is no.
Yeah, but I guess
Hey, can I put in an application for a friendship? She might say yeah.
look,
But
see what I'm saying? You got to go the extra step. See, and I think that's a man's job. I'm sorry,
right,
no,
exactly,
I'm not
right.
going to put in an application for a friendship as a woman. I feel like it should be the other way around. I know that sounds
No, I
bad,
was
but
just
it's
saying it from a man. Yeah, you gotta have heart. And a lot of guys, they got they might have a good job. They might, be professionals. Might be kind of suave, dressed nice, but they need to go see the wizard and get some heart.
that's right.
And not be afraid to go up to that fine woman you want to talk to and be like, hey, I want to put in an application for a friendship or something. You gotta, a lot of guys gotta have heart. You gotta just jump and go for it. She might say yeah. And the other guys that were scared to go up and talk to her is like, dang man, you got a number, or it's because yeah, I wasn't afraid to go up and talk to her.
Yeah, and like Stacey said, so I mean, and we talked about this last week about women. Some men are being turned off by women who approach them. I think it's all from what I gather from listening to the men speak. It's all in the way you do it. So I
Right.
think if you just come up with icebreakers or put yourself in the proximity of a man, and still allow them to lead. But I'm not going to be overbearing.
Right.
I know, like LaDonna is saying, back in the day, she used to shoot her shot. Some women just have that level of confidence that they can do that. But I know I'm not built of that place, so I know I can't. So yeah, those are some good things.
No,
So
I mean, if you listen, if we want you, like if a man wants you, when you come over and like talk and start a conversation, be like up, down, and then he'll start talking. You know what I mean? Now, if he don't, he'd be like, yeah. So he like one word you, like, yeah, okay, yeah, cool,
he
all
ain't
right,
feeling
hey,
it.
well, nice to meet you, and he'd be
Right.
out. Like, that's me.
And like Stacey said, her husband said only if they're ugly. So if a woman is
What?
not
Only if
attractive,
they're ugly? What?
yeah, they're not gonna allow the flirting to take place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We not interested. Be like, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, good. So what's your name? Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, okay. See you.
That's
Just literally
horrible.
walk out of there.
If
Hey,
somebody
that's
did,
life.
I'd be so upset for the rest of the week. That'll break my spirit. That'll hurt my heart.
Nah, you just gotta try again. See somebody else. And just like, hey,
Okay, so moving on. Your sunglasses. You're wearing them right now. So tell the people about how they can get them, what they are, the name. Just give the whole spiel on it.
oh, okay, wow. Thanks for, good looking out. Well, my sunglass line is the Tony Brown collection. Um, Tony's my first name. And just was an ideal that I came up with over 30 years ago, and kind of, you know, didn't have the funds to, actually, make them at the time. I was so young, and just stay with the dream, just following dreams, and putting my good credit and money toward doing something and making something that I felt like was good and
Mhm.
that would be revolutionary, evolutionary, and innovative. And my website is www.tonybrowncollection.com. And I have two styles now: Solar, which is the ones that I'm wearing now, and the other one is Dream, which has a triangle in the center, which you could actually replace that triangle with your birth. So, so yeah, it's a young business. I just started it, and started it right in the middle of COVID
Mhm.
19. Kind of wasn't my fault. My manufacturer ran behind with production because the frames are titanium, they're very strong, and they're very light. And everywhere I go, look, you want to meet somebody? Put these glasses on.
I
People
know that's.
stop me all the time.
I need.
They stop
I'm,
me all the time.
so I'm blind. I'm gonna have to get mine with some prescription in it. So.
Prescription. I got you. I got you. Hit me
And,
up.
well, thank you. And y'all check out his shades, TonyBrownCollection.com. And today, I was a little down today. A friend of mine lost his dog. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a big dog person. I love my
Oh,
dogs. I love my dogs nonstop. And he lost his dog that was near and dear to him. And I just want to say I send him love and light. And I am praying for him because I know how that feels. And
right.
also, I will be putting up some information I mentioned earlier about my matchmaking game. I will be doing that in the coming weeks. So any singles that would like to be made matched up, please don't hesitate to submit your information. I will have that on my Facebook page, but you can also just hit me up on my Facebook page as what in the hell am I doing wrong? Send me a message if you're interested in being a contestant on the show. So just let me know. Anything else you want to say, Orenthial?
No, I mean, I really appreciate, you having me on the show. Always a pleasure to talk about relationships
Yes.
and things of that nature. And, let me know anytime you want me to come on and, chop it up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you all for chiming in with us this afternoon. And I won't be on next week. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, so it'll probably be the week after that. So y'all have a good
Cool.
and blessed Sunday. Thank you.
Thanks.